dual air chambers center movement compartment breathing. Introducing sleep level beds with propulsion technology, which actually
I stuck pins in both G and F, the purple and the black and white wire. I'm still getting an open reading on the sending unit and the tank. The black and white's a low reference, I believe, for the sending unit, with no result. So definitely gotta take the tank down. You can take the tank down with the gas that's in it. It's a little heavy and awkward, but effective. While it is preferred to remove a fuel tank that is empty, I recommend drive it around with a gallon can of gas with you till it runs out. Put the gallon in it, bring it back, then take the tank down. Those are the safest way to do it. You should skip to the third video now. For the professionals like myself that know time is money, plus I don't want to pull down the full gas tank, I'm going to be draining the gas out using the car zone system to do it. It should only be attempted, and exclusive attention to what you're doing and all safety measures are taken into account. And this is for professional use only.
we've built a new smarter bed using the dual air chambers center movement compartment breathing. Introducing sleep level beds with propulsion technology. Supposedly this gas tank's full of gas. I really don't have an inkling to take a full gas tank down, and they're not making provisions to get gasoline out of the tanks very easy these days. It's not like you can run a siphoning hose down through the fuel neck. There's a valve in there. If you damage it, you're going to have a check engine light on over it. One of the tips I'm going to show to get the fuel out of the fuel tank is using a fuel pump relay via the fuel supply line, or you can just use a scan tool and then engage the fuel pump. You could actually run this line down the side of the car with a bigger hose over top of the whole line, or if you have an injector cleaner, you can just insert a line into it and run it off out of the engine compartment away from everything. And once you get the fuel line off, be sure you've got a fire extinguisher around, and take your time about it. It really isn't worth getting in a hurry and making a mistake. You're damaging property or lives, yourself, anybody. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm going to drain it out with the car's fuel pump. The first thing I'm going to do is take this metal shield off that's supporting the line. It's got 13mm in the back there. And take that off and free the line up. Then start working on the clip. The bolt's out. The line's pretty free to move now. Next thing I want to do is pop this safety off. Just pull at the top, push down. It's got some hooks. There's a four-way like cross metal tabs pointed in toward the line that holds that down. I'll lay that up there. Next thing I want to do is lay a shop towel around the line, catch any excess fuel. Provided you've drained the fuel pressure off. You can check it by covering the Schrader port with a shop rag and pushing on the needle valve in the center. Make sure it covers the hole. Push down on the needle valve, and that'll catch any fuel pressure and not get it in your eyes. So that's good. And I'll put the cap back on. It's real easy to lose these caps. So anyway, I got a shop towel wrapped around the fuel line. And we make these fuel line removers. These are plastic ones. They're cheap and fast. Or you can take a hose clamp and cut it off appropriate amounts and bend it into a funnel shape and fish it up in there. But since I got these, I'm going to use them. Push down on the line a little bit and slide this plastic deal up in there. Might have to spin it around a little bit. Sometimes you got to kind of help the plastic open. Let the excess gas drain out on the shop towel. So there's 4 metal tabs in there that holds it onto that washer on the line. And I'm going to take this line and put it into a gas can, or you said a 5-gallon can, whatever. Now to the fuel pump relay. Go to this panel right here and open it. Just push it sideways and pop it open. And then push that clip down in the top. Pop that cover open. Relay 37 is a fuel pump relay on this one. That's the very last writing. So that's this relay on the end. Most relays on the side of them have a schematic of how it operates. And the arm that's out there by itself and open is the power and what it's hooking the power to. Be on the right. Pin 30 and 87 supplies power to the fuel pump. So look at the bottom relay. Pin 30 is here and pin 87 is there, diagonal. Either way, 87 and 30 are reversible. So all you have to do is look how it plugs in the fuse box and find either pin, which is 30 or 87. Which this is 30 and 87. So it'd be the top left hole to the bottom right hole to hook a fused power source between them. This is just 2 flat blade terminals hooked to a 10 amp fuse. The fuel pump fuse is actually 15 amp, but I think I can get by with a 10. If it blows a 10, the fuel pump's probably got a problem anyway. And just 2 open ends on the end of the wires. It actually makes switchable relays to bypass the relays like I was doing with the wiring and the fuse, but I don't think they're fused. Be certain the fuel line's in the gas container and won't come out. It's best to have an assistant at that end watching it. Before you hook the power up, make sure that fuel line's going to be going into something. There. The fuel pump's running. Keep an eye on, it's going to fill up really fast. Be sure and keep an eye on it. It only takes a few, probably about 10 or 20 seconds a gallon. So, unless you want a fire hazard and a mess all over the engine. Once you got your fuel in there, move it a safe distance away from the area you're working in and away from any possible flame. or source of ignition, like sparks.